Life feels like it's completely changed. That I was saying, bring on the bad times. Let's get tested again. I'll be honest, that happened. I got tested again. You've gone to paradise and you've come back and normal feels like hell. You get lost in the bullshit. You get lost in your own mind. And I was humbled. And the realization of only as good as your current mindset. We're all vulnerable to have a shit time, no matter the level of it. Right, let's get back into the swing of things. Not filmed a video in a very long time. Good thing I've recorded almost every day in the past year. So I've had some stock videos, I guess. But I've not filmed for the last 6 months. What date is it? Since last year. There's been a lot going on. Life feels like it's completely changed. And I remember in some videos that I was filming, I was that happy that I was saying, bring on the bad times. Let's get tested again. And I'll be honest, that happened. I got tested again. And the mindset got tested and spiraled a little bit. Well, a lot of stress in comparison to what I guess I've ever experienced. And it just caused me to not want to film. It just wasn't on my mind. And because I do this for the love of the game, because I do this because I like it, I didn't want to film. I didn't want to force filming. I didn't want to sit here and try and talk about something maybe that I weren't ready to even talk about. But I think I'm back. You got to get into the groove of things. And one of the weirdest things that I'm also have been experiencing while I've not been filming, because I've still been posting and I've changed the way I post and the way I do things, I watch every single video. I go through it and I listen to what I'm saying. And that is completely strange because it's from, let's say, a year ago to this day. It's so weird while you're not in a good place to be listening to yourself talking about how you're in a great place, about how your life's amazing and perfect and your mindset is perfect, and you're actually asking for, right, let's bring it on, let's bring life on and see how our mindset is when the negatives come. Can we keep it the same? And I was humbled, to be fair. I was humbled. And the realization of only as good as your current mindset. And as soon as you lose that mindset, for me, I think things change. You don't see what you're meant to see. Things get blurred. You get lost in the bullshit. You get lost in your own mind and you forget the procedures you're meant to do, I guess, to keep yourself all right. The reason that I've not been filming, I felt like there's too much going on. I'm not relaxed, I'm not chilled, I'm not settled is the word. And when I'm not settled, it's a bit chaotic in my mind, I guess. To stay consistent in the mindset that you want to be in is there's no matter what you preach. And I feel like I can see this in everyone now. The way people speak, that I see on videos, in person, the way people are, is temporary till something rocks them and shakes them again. Or when you felt like you've been through something in life, and then you get over it. I had the feeling that that was it, I was done, I completed it, nothing else can come along. And I wonder if some of these people we watch on YouTube and documentaries and stuff, who do amazing things, who have come out of addiction and who have come out of extremely tough times and done extremely tough things, broke records and hit milestones that seem impossible. And they talk about the struggle, they talk about life. You get some motivational speakers, whether you can class them as that or not, or you get some people that have had an inspirational story and have done something, who have gone through something, and they're talking about it in the past. I wonder if they've just a little bit forgotten what it felt like, what that pain felt like, what that struggle felt like, what that pressure felt like. And I imagine this with money. And I imagine this with someone who doesn't have money, who's grown up poor, who's grafted and then got lots of money, got financially set and stable and got enough to live for the rest of their life. And I wonder if people like that forget what it was like being poor, because it is kind of impossible to keep that mindset once you got out of it. to truly feel. And when I talk about stuff like that, I think when people are struggling, when people don't know how to get out of the situation that they're in, you can watch videos, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books on other people's life and how people did it and got out of it and what to do. It doesn't compare to when you're in that moment, when you're in that struggle, when you're in the hole. The words don't register. You don't relate it to yourself. You don't practice what you preach. You're a bit out of control. I'm sort of believing now that it's impossible to articulate how to get out of the hole. I don't think anyone can teach you. I don't think anyone can tell you and guide you step by step. I think people can be there for you. And there are little things you can do, like listening to people who know and who've got out of a hole, and just to almost keep the hope alive that you can get out. I think that's what, I don't know, let's say these videos or other people you might listen to and see. I think that's all it is. I think they're just the light, the hope. But you have to get yourself out of that hole. And I think it's on many different levels, this hole that people get in. You got people ranging from severe addiction to just almost mild depression. And I guess I've never experienced a deep hole, but for me, I don't feel a different level when you're doing bad, when you're stressed, when you're overpressured, when things are going on, when life's going a bit chaotic. I don't feel different levels. For me, I've only ever experienced you're in the hole, so I can only speak on that. But no one can drag you out of it. You do have to get yourself out. And I guess when you are good, when you do get in the position of being better, you have to remember what got you out, what physical steps get you out. 6 months ago, I went to Australia. 5 months ago, I came back from Australia, and life changed. Life felt too different. Life felt wrong. It didn't feel right to come back to this life and live how I'm working, how I'm spending my time. It felt wrong because, if I'm honest, you've gone to paradise and you've come back and normal feels like hell. No one tells you about that. When you do get to paradise, when you do get to the dream, when you do get to live in the perfect life temporarily, when you come back to reality, in a sense, it's fucked. If I'm honest, that's what it felt like. It weren't depression or anything like that. It's just sadness and blues and a mindset of not appreciating that you've just done it, that you've just had it. It's wanting more. And as humans, we always want more. That's what I found that. And I see it in other people. We always want more. That thing isn't enough. A lot of people who are obese and fat have that characteristic about themselves, that they want more. One chocolate bar isn't enough. One cake isn't enough. And I feel like that is sort of our nature. I guess that's why we progress so much and quite quickly, in a sense of when you look around in the world and what you see. And coming back from Australia, I just wanted more of that life. It's a mixture of things. In my daily life now, I don't get too much sunlight, too much vitamin D. You go to a country, it's always sunny. You've got enough vitamin D your whole life, every single day. I'm getting sleep. You're on holiday. You're travelling. Here, it's difficult to manage my time to get sleep. Because you feel like I feel like I'm wasting my time working, in a sense. I've got those 8 or 9 hours where I'm working. So when you come home, you want to use your time and you don't want to just be going to bed. So sometimes you might stay up later and you lose your sleep pattern and you get less sleep. Whereas when you're travelling, you've got freedom. You've got unlimited sleep. It's your choice. It's your disposal of what you do and what time you have. And most of the time you can lie in. So I've got getting sun, I'm getting vitamin D. And then you've got freedom of money because you've saved up all this time. So you haven't got to worry. When you saved up enough, you haven't got to worry about have I got enough money. You can just manage a little bit. But in a sense, freedom because you're travelling, you're on holiday. And then freedom with your time and the activities you do. For us, we're always in nature. When we was in Australia, you're in the sea. You're doing amazing things. You're doing unrealistic things that don't align with your reality. I work in a factory. I think it's 9 hours, 8 hours a day, whatever. And you step out of that reality and then you go travelling for a month in a paradise. You don't see the story that's going to unfold, but of course you're going to come back and have blues. And I think that just set the year off, basically, of a little bit somber, a little bit in your own head of, this is shit, but it's hard to feel like shit because you've just done something amazing and you've just been so lucky. I think that's the difficult thing. You sort of do it in a general way, appreciate what you've done and how lucky you are and what you achieve by doing something like that. In a sense, you want more, like I said. You just always want more. And like I said, sets off the year and a couple of months, and you sat in that. And then we moved into our house and we're doing work on the house, and that's a long process. And what we did was, because we'd got the house and then we went to Australia, you come back and you've got this surge of energy and wanting to be in a house. So you do it quickly and you want to move out. You've told people this when you're moving out. You don't want to be sat in your parents' home for too long now, and you got your own house. So it's like surges of stuff. Doing shifts of finishing work and going straight to the house and doing more work on the house. Not having a break for, I don't even know what it was. Like, it's a blur now, but 8 weeks. It might have been something like 12 weeks of just no weekends to yourself, no breaks, nothing like that. And that's a lot. So you're in that headspace. And then one thing I noticed was no exercise. Because you're so busy, I've not got time to exercise. And exercise for me is one way of sorting my head out mentally and relaxing, in a sense, doing your own thing and separating time, work and life. For me, a work and life balance, if I exercise, it's the easiest way to feel a difference between the two times in your day of work and chill. In a sense, exercise for me is kind of a chill, because it don't feel like it when you're sweating your guts out. But that's what it is for me. And when I'm not doing that, I almost can't, in a sense, keep my head straight. So one of the things I notice is when I do exercise, which I've always talked about, you start to get a healthy pattern that gets you out of the hole. And I think that's for me what the start was, is exercise to get me out of the hole. You start sort of maintaining your thought, getting into gear, going, not just sitting back and simmering in your depression, your sadness. You're not simmering in your sadness. You're doing something. You feel like you're doing something, I think, that gets you going and gets you reminded that you've got shit to do. You can't just mope around. I think it's because it's an activity. You're being active. You're getting a grip, in a sense. When you get in the groove of exercise, when you get in the groove of sorting your life out a bit, it then snowballs the same way. You build momentum and you start going again. And also everything. The holiday blues fade. The work on the house, you start getting days for yourself, your weekends, your jobs start ending. And if I'm honest, they've only just ended probably a month ago. And you're only just coming out of it, really, the intensity of it. And it helps just being on holiday for a week and you come back and you have them holiday blues again because you've just had them 6 months ago. And you realise, let's not get into a sadness. You've done it, you appreciate it. Let's move, let's carry on. Right, back to life. This is what you do. This is your time that you're in. That's why I've not filmed for 6 months. That's where I see that life's not always how you preach. Even sat here now, preaching, it doesn't 100% accurately articulate how it feels and how you get out of it. I could be thinking all this when you can still be in the hole, and it's just you got to do something to get out of it. Sometimes you got to manage it. Sometimes you just got to grit through and get through it. And what's shocking to me is it's not even something that's so bad. There are worse things in life. And it's amazing how sort of the simple things in life can get you in a hole. And I think for me, it's difficult to talk about because in a sense you've got to go, nothing's really happening. You're a bit of a pussy saying this is too much, you're in a hole, and not much has actually happened. But in a sense, you're at your limits in life. You're almost only as good as your last tough moment. And you've got to build up those tough moments to be, I guess, resilient. And comparing your struggle doesn't really work because each individual's different. Each individual has a different life. And someone who's in extreme suffering If they get put into your life, they might be fine for a certain amount of time. Like I said, I've been in that mindset where I've been fine and I've been great, and then something just slams you and you shift straight out of it. So we're all vulnerable for that. So when we're talking about problems and stuff going on and stuff going wrong, it's sort of okay now to be talking about it for me, because this experience has shown me that we're all a bit sensitive. We're all vulnerable to have a shit time, no matter the level of it. And that's completely fine. Good to be back filming, and peace. One of the things that I'm going through right now is a bit of adversity. All my energy wants to be in the thoughts that I'm having and the way I'm speaking. I just have this eagerness to film and to get it down. But if I don't have it now, it's so frustrating because I can't film. I can't focus on filming as much as I can. I thought what I was saying was pretty valid. The emotions I was feeling at the time felt rare. To not document the moment when I'm feeling like that upsets me a little bit. And by having a perspective of 5 or 10 years and doing it for me, it's okay. It keeps me going.